Hello and welcome to the Invixium stand here at Intersec Saudi Arabia. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the world's most influential leaders in the field of biometrics, the CEO and president of Invixium, Shiraz Kapadia. Shiraz, thank you very much for having me here on your stand today.
Thank you, Ryan.
So now it's a pleasure to be here with you. First of all, I'd like to get some insights into the industry. So I'd love to know what you're seeing in terms of trends in biometrics and also how Invixium is positioned to address these trends.
No, fantastic question. So the way I've answered this in the past is biometric itself is a trend. And the applications where biometrics is used is access control, which is authenticate people to make sure who enters a facility and who doesn't. It's also used in workforce management. It's also used in time and attendance. It's also used in visitor management. So biometric itself is a trend which is overtaking those antiquated methods that have been used for access control and time and attendance and workforce management. Right? And it's, I would say, fingerprint recognition is one biometric modality that has been very popular because it's the most standardized, it's the most popular. However, COVID has changed the world in many ways, and the biometric industry is no different. So a fingerprint, you have to touch something, so it's quite invasive. And facial recognition used to be frowned upon before COVID. And now I've answered it like it's got a decade worth of adoption in a span of 1 month. So the fastest adoption that happened because you don't have to touch anything. People are okay with, their faces are available on Google, on Facebook. So yes, there is discussions about privacy, but when it's about consented capturing of faces for the purposes of time tracking or workforce management or visitor management or access control is one of the fastest growing biometric modalities. And we have seen it firsthand happening in our company.
Thank you, Shiraz. And you touched upon how much COVID changed the industry. I'd like to know a little bit more about the sectors that have been adopting biometric technology and which sectors are adopting them at more of a rapid rate as well.
Yeah, so, as you will see, I'm sure you've roamed around the floor and you've been at other trade shows. We are not unique in terms of the product portfolio that we have. There are other companies that are doing what we do. However, I don't know for what reason, but if you look at data, if you look at reports, the total working population out of 8 billion people in the world is, let's say, 60%, right? 75% of the working population works in industrial areas, whether it be manufacturing, whether it be construction, whether it be oil and gas. But a lot of the products that are developed by companies or solutions, I would say, are for the white collar industry. That is just 20-25% of the working workforce. So there's a lot of saturation of technology for that 25% of the working population. There are very few biometric companies or products or solutions that have been designed to work in industrial sectors. And what we are doing is focusing on addressing that market. Industrial, by definition, has been very low tech, right? The white collar industry, you'll see all sorts of, technology deployed over there. And because of that, our solutions are very popular in, let's say, oil and gas, in energy, in petrochemicals, in construction, in manufacturing. Not to say that we don't sell into normal office environments, we do, but our product portfolio focus and the solution portfolio focus is more industrial, which is where 75% of the working population is.
Thank you. And I think you've touched upon there the wide variety of industries that adopt your technology. Naturally, within this sort of workspace, you'd need to constantly be adapting to the needs of your customer. How does Invixium adapt to these challenges?
It's very interesting, Ryan, you asked that question. We believe in one statement. There is nothing like a one-size-fits-all. So just because I have a biometric box and a software doesn't mean it's going to serve every application. Because, as I mentioned, access control, workforce management, visitor management, those are three of many other applications that biometrics is popular in. But these are the three that we focus on. Now, if a particular customer has an access control need, their need is not going to be unified to some other access control customer. So we have a dedicated team that focuses on customizations. So we say, here is a platform, whether it's hardware or whether it's a firmware or whether it's a software, and it does a lot. We go to customers and say, it does a lot. But if there are things that it doesn't do, let us know and we'll customize it for you. We'll tailor it for you. There was a customer yesterday that I went to, and I made a statement. If you can describe the problem, we have a solution. And because of that, we are getting a lot of attention from large enterprises, because every large enterprise is going to have a unique need. So we have three biometric modalities from a product perspective. We have face recognition, we have fingerprint recognition, we have fingerprint recognition, and other factors like, mobile access or card access or PIN access. But outside of that, we are very much willing to customize our software platform. We're very much willing to customize our mobile platform. And rather than telling the customer, you adapt your workflow to what our products do, we go and say, we will make our products adapt to how you want the system to work.
Thank you, Shiraz. And you mentioned just then the customization of your software and the ability to adapt to the needs of your customers. Do you have any specific examples that spring to mind about interesting use cases from customers in the past?
Of course. In an enterprise, what does a business dislike the most? A business dislikes the most where if a manufacturer or a solution provider goes and says, whatever you have invested in the past, please throw it away and install everything brand new, because what you have is quite antiquated. It's, old fashioned. We don't do that. We say, whatever you have, let us know. Maybe we can integrate our products, software solutions to what you have in existence. So we don't want to throw away their ROI. We want to augment what their needs are. So integrations is something that we do very frequently, whether it is to a VMS system, video management system, whether it's to a building management system, whether it's to an HVAC system, whether it's to a visitor management system. And, there are a lot of logos that you see, like Siemens and Honeywell and NetApp and the top brands we are integrated with. We are humble enough to accept, realize, understand, and appreciate we cannot do everything, and we don't want to. We are good at what we do, and we want to stick to that core competency. There are others that have other core competencies, but an enterprise or an industry needs multiple systems. We figure out a way to make our solution work with all those systems. So if I start going through the list, Ryan, of what unique use cases, we'll be here for a long time. But, integrations is the word, where we integrate with multiple systems to make the workflow as easy as possible for employees and visitors.
Thank you. And on a bit of a tangent here, really, Shiraz, I think we both know that beyond business, biometrics has a huge impact on society as a whole. What responsibility do security companies have to help manage this impact in a positive way?
Interesting. And I'm sure there are some bookish answers to that. And I won't go there, but real life examples. So let's say you are an oil and gas company, or you are a manufacturing plant. You're not going to have 50 employees. You're going to, in the region, in the Middle East, manufacturing is very popular. Oil and gas is very popular. You have, at a minimum, a few 10,000 employees, maybe more than 100,000 employees. So if they all have to stand in line and show their identity to get into a facility, if somebody has to write down what time they checked in and what time they're checking out, there's going to be a lineup, and those people are going to be standing in environmental conditions, harsh conditions for hours. Our products, it's quick. Face recognition, we can get through about 30 to 35 people in a minute. So it's fast. So that's one impact that we're having to society, where these workers, employees that are working hard, we get them into the workplace faster. The benefit for the enterprise is they get higher productivity. So it's a win-win situation. The antiquated methods are, this is more of a bookish answer where, plastic cards are very popular for card access, right? Crocs cards or smart cards or keys and fobs. Well, I don't have to tell you, like, those have impact on environment. The more plastic is wastage. For example, you go to a hotel, you're running for your flight, you're checking out, those cards stay in your pocket, the hotels don't demand it back from you. So what happens to those cards? You go home, either the kids are playing with it or you throw them in the garbage. What did you just do? Right? You just spoil the environment. If you have biometrics, your finger is your finger, your face is your face, you're not going to throw it out, so you're not impacting the environment. That's more of a bookish answer. So companies, not just Invixium, but companies like us, any biometric company, any solution company that does these kinds of technologies and solutions, I think we do our part in helping the environment a bit and society as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's something that I've discussed at great length with many of the other companies that are here this week, how important sustainability is in our industry right now and how we need to look out for the future of the planet and everything that we do. One last question for you, Shiraz, and this is more looking at Invixium as a company. I'd like to know more about which regions, or the number one region that you have seen the highest level of growth in.
I think that's a pretty simple answer, right? We are here in Saudi Arabia at a trade show. And we've been in the region, our first purchase order actually came from Saudi Arabia, from a very, very large customer. We started the company in 2012, and our very first PO 8 months later was from Saudi Arabia. Pretty large one. So we have always believed in the Middle East region in general and Saudi Arabia in particular. But over the past 3-4 years, so I've been coming to Saudi for 15 plus years now. The transformation that I've seen over the past 3 years is incomprehensible. More than incomprehensible, it's inspirational, right? That if you believe that you want to do something, you can do it, and you can do it at a very, very fast pace. So the fact that Intersec KSA, you can go talk to any booth, they're going to say, this is one of the most fascinating shows they have ever experienced. And we are pleasantly and humbly surprised and happy because our biggest market, the biggest country where we get our revenue from is Saudi Arabia now, at least for the past 2 years, for 3 years, I would say. And therefore, we've decided to expand our team. We've got people on the ground. We're in the process of having our own office, and that work is going on. So I would say 2024, we'll have everything. Not that we didn't have it, but we're going to have it in a bigger way, and we're going to continue investing in the region. So to answer your question bluntly, what is your biggest country? Saudi Arabia is the biggest country for Invixium.
It's fantastic to hear, Shiraz. And it's been a real privilege to be here with you today and find out more about Invixium's work in the region. I think it's a very exciting time. I agree with you with the Saudi Vision 2030, and it's a perfect time to be here at Intersec Saudi Arabia. So thank you so much for having me here. And I hope that business in the future in Saudi Arabia continues to boom for you.